Hi there, kindergartners. It's Miss Ron again, and I hope you are ready for another great day of science together. I hope you've been having as much fun as I have while we've been learning all about paper. We've been talking about paper. We've been talking about so many different kinds. I love paper. Paper is so fun to write with. It's so fun to do our journals on and our word work activities. And we get source slips made of paper. Woohoo! We use paper every single day for so many different reasons that it is important to remember what happens when we're all done with our paper. Wow. A lot of times at school or in class, maybe even at home, when we are done with our paper, we put it into a garbage. Now, it's not just any old garbage. It is something called the recycling bin. And at school, it is a big blue bin, and that is where all of our paper goes to be recycled. But what does that mean? Well, let's find out more. So when we talk about paper, it comes from many different kinds of places. We know that paper comes from trees, just like when you learned about wood with Miss Allen, but there is a process that it goes through to become paper. So first, trees are cut down and they're sent to a paper mill. So that's just a place where they make like a factory where they make all of this good stuff into paper. All right, then at the mill, the bark on the tree, because we don't have bark on our paper. Do you see any bark on your paper? I don't see any bark on the paper. So at the mill, the bark is removed, and then the wood is cut into tiny pieces with a machine called a chipper. After that, the chipper wood gets put into a big pressure cooker, which means it presses it, and it's really big, and it cooks it. So it's a pressure cooker, and it cooks along with some special chemicals. So some special materials that are put into that paper, into that big pressure cooker to help make it into paper. So this cooker and the chemicals make the wood pieces into pulp. Can you say that with me? Pulp. All right, so that's what it's called. So do you see how it's mixed right here? It mixes it all together in this big pressure cooker. And let's see what's going to happen next. Ooh, the pulp is poured into a large screen where the extra water drains. So it's kind of like a big strainer, like if you were to make noodles. And then it strains it at the bottom, which means all the water comes out. So it pushes all of that water, drains it from the paper. Once the paper is dry, it's pressed flat between two huge rollers. So those rollers roll and it flattens that paper right in the middle of it. Then, finally, so the very last step, the paper needs to dry and then it's cut into sheets. So do you see right here, the paper is moved in those huge big things. They kind of look like paper towel rolls, like at school. Oh, how silly. So they look so big just like this and they're moved so they're able to be dried and cut into sheets like we find our paper. Now, sometimes paper comes like this, but this paper I cut or someone at school cut. Normally, it comes kind of like this size, like a normal piece of paper, and that's how you can buy it. So all of these steps is what paper needs to go through. That's the process it goes through in order to become paper. So first, it starts out at the tree, and then it becomes paper by going through all of these cool steps. How fun. So let's keep learning all about paper. When you were done with paper, let's say you had a piece of paper and I wrote on it. I drew a big heart because I love you so much. I drew my big heart. Now, a lot of times in school, when we draw, we tell you to keep using that paper. So if I just drew one heart and give it to you, oh, that'd be so thoughtful. But I'd want you to draw even more instead of using more paper and more paper and more paper. So that is helping us to recycle, to reuse the paper that we have. But when it's time for us to throw this paper away, remember we put it in the recycling bin so it can be made into new paper. Let's take a look at some paper that is recycled. So up here, we see all this paper together. This paper right here has been recycled. Do you see how it kind of looks like some garbage? Well, that's true. It does. So all this paper right here is being recycled and made into new paper. If you look over here, these papers are thicker, but they have been recycled from old paper. So this paper is paper that's already been used, and now it's being made into new paper. So more friends can draw on it and color on it and use it. Over here, too, there's even more paper. See how it even has those little dots? That means maybe some color paper got mixed in or some brown paper got mixed in. And that's okay because all of that paper is getting together to being recycled to make new paper. And it is very important to recycle so that we don't have all of this garbage and all of this paper all over our earth. That's why the more that we can recycle paper and recycle other things, the more it can be made into something new. How cool. All right, we're going to keep learning about recycling because it is very important to recycle. Why do you think it's important to recycle? Well, I know that it's important to recycle because we don't want a bunch of garbage all over our earth. We want our earth to be very clean and beautiful with lots of room for trees and plants to grow. And the more we recycle, the more we reuse our different paper and materials, the more that others can enjoy it and the less that we waste. So we are going to learn even more, and we're going to watch this super fun short video on how paper is recycled. All right, here we go.
As a nation, we get through around 12 million tons of paper each year. Recycling paper and card reduces energy use and CO2 and diverts paper waste from landfill, where it rots and produces harmful greenhouse gases. Paper mills make a variety of papers from different recycled material. To start the recycling process, paper and card is collected, sorted and graded. At the paper mill, it is pulped in a tank containing water and some chemicals which separates the fibers. It is screened to filter out paper clips, labels and other debris, and then cleaned by being spun in a cone-shaped container. Coloring agents may be added if required, and the pulp mixture, which is 99% water and 1% fiber, is then pumped on the paper machine. It is sprayed onto a fast-moving mesh, which forms the sheet and removes much of the water. The paper is then pressed to remove more water before passing through a series of large heated rollers until the correct moisture content and thickness levels are achieved, and is then wound onto huge rolls. The large rolls are then divided into smaller reels, packed and stored until they're dispatched for further processing into newspapers, cardboard boxes, writing papers, or toilet rolls. To find out more about the recycling process, visit recycleforwales.org.uk.
Wow, what a fun process that paper goes through every time it's recycled. See how important it is to make sure that you always use up that full piece of paper, and then you put it in the recycling bin so it can be made into new paper for more people to enjoy. So today, I want you to take a look at your science notebook. Make sure that every single page on there is done at your very, very best. Make sure you have all your words on there that you want. You've colored in every page. You've labeled it, because today is your last day with it. You are all done. Make sure you keep that science notebook with you so you can look back at all of your hard work about wood and about paper. Now today, you are going to need your iPad because we're going to be doing a seesaw activity. For seesaw today, it says, why is it important to recycle paper? All right, first you're going to tap the green add button, and you're going to take a video of yourself telling your teacher why you think it is important to recycle paper. Now we're specifically talking about paper. So before you click the record button, make sure you think in your brain about what you're going to say. Make sure you brainstorm it. Think of your idea first. Then when you're ready, you're going to tell us about why you think it's important for paper to go through this cycle and be recycled into something new. So when you are ready to do that and to record it and tell your teacher all of your great thoughts, make sure you go into Seesaw. You are going to click on the activity and make sure you click that camera button. After you click the camera button and you're ready to record your video. So make sure we can see you moving. We can see your pretty smile of you're talking the whole time, just like you can now. Set up your iPad, either hold it super still, because if you're moving it, it gets really noisy. So you could either set it up on your table and not touch it, or hold it very, very still. I would recommend setting it up because you have a stand on the back. So set it up. Make sure you have a really big smile. Make sure we can see your whole face in the screen and say, I think it is important to recycle paper because, and tell us your great thoughts. Oh, I cannot wait to hear all of your wonderful, brilliant ideas. All right, scientists, I have had so much fun with you. I hope you've learned a lot about wood and paper, and I hope you continue to explore new things and have new ideas every single day. I am very proud of you, and I hope you had fun in science. I'll miss you, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Goodbye.